Mic check, mic check. Can everybody hear me okay? Wheels, welcome in. DTP, what up, what up? Ruben, hello. Rico, Soli, Ryan. What is up, everybody? Yeah, press the like button for me. I haven't even said anything, but you guys know it's all about to be some good content here. We've got some nice setups going into this week. A lot of interesting things kind of going on. Earnings season starting up. Banks are kicking that off this week. We've got the market trading at all-time highs, so who knows where we go from here. Swing traders, man, I hope you're hanging in there. I really do, because this right here was tough. That had to have been tough. Big day up, down, back up. I don't know how you guys hold through that type of mess, but good luck to you, and really proud of you if you're holding through that type of movement, man. I mean, it's not for me. I'm a day trader for a reason. To everybody else, welcome in. Today I'm going to be breaking down my full trading plan for tomorrow, and then I'll be taking some charting requests at the end of the stream. Legally, I have to say that I'm not a financial advisor. This does not serve as financial advice, and all mentions here are just my opinion. That's it. Did you guys see that thing on TikTok taking down all of these crypto, these people that do like crypto breakdowns? I guess they're banning those creators from making TikToks on cryptocurrencies. I mean, I don't know. I partially agree, but I also partially disagree, because there's a lot of creators out there that actually make good content. But then again, there's also the ones that pump, I don't know, the Safe Moon stuff. I don't know much about crypto, but yeah, so got to be careful with that type of thing, right? Let's get right into it. I'm not going to waste too much time making small talk here. The first one on our watch list for tomorrow is without a doubt Apple. You guys should maybe know what's going on with this already. If you don't, here's the breakdown. This is a major pattern right here. It's an ascending triangle, higher lows, flat top level of resistance formed on the daily chart time frame. It's a little cleaner on the weekly chart. If I back that up, you can see. So we are just now breaking out of this ascending triangle into all-time highs, and just barely into all-time highs. So if you're looking at the daily chart, you're thinking, well, you know, this thing's been running up. How much more can it continue to go? I would be thinking the same thing, but earnings is coming up, right? And so earnings being news, this may be a case of buy the rumor, sell the news, and we see this run up to the earnings report, or close to it, and then we see a couple of days of consolidation as we near that time frame. I think there's a lot of juice left in the tank for Apple, to be honest. You know, it's just now kind of breaking out, had a nice little stutter pullback there to test this area as support, recovery mode on the way up, and it's back into all-time highs. So from here, I mean, the analysis is really simple, for a day trader at least. All we're looking for is a new all-time high to be made. I'm not interested in taking a short position on Apple. You know, maybe if it broke back below like 140 or 138 down here in this area, I would entertain a short position. But this trend is strong. The trend is your friend, and it's moving up. So I'm looking for a break over 146 tomorrow into the new all-time highs. If this opens up above 146, then whatever that pre-market level winds up being, that will serve as my trigger level. All right, so long idea on Apple over 146 into the all-time highs, and that is the trade. That is my plan. The number 2 stock on the watch list for tomorrow, and by the way, these are in no particular order. The second one on our watch list is going to be PayPal. That's PYPL. So PayPal is kind of like Apple, really, where it's been creeping up. But what I like about PayPal is that it's not over the all-time highs yet, and it's almost there. It's close. But there's not a lot of resistance between where it's currently trading at, around $300, up to this high around $309. Secondly, PayPal has done this thing where like it's not making a parabolic move straight up. It's run, consolidated, right? Ran, pulled back, made a new high, consolidated. So the next kind of leg to this movement is a little bit of a run. I mean, it's healthy. When a stock moves up like this, it's basically building a base of support for the next move up. If something moves up very quickly, like it did in the past, it can come down very quickly because there's not a lot of stuttering here preventing this from dropping just as fast. Whereas in this area, if this were to reject, I mean, clearly there's some support built around 290. There may even be some support built at around 295. So we're just looking for a break over 300 on PayPal, and then the move up to the top side. I think you might see a little bit of resistance around 302, 302.5 area, just kind of based off of where these wicks were rejected at. But over that price point, it should be home free. So on PayPal, just looking for a move, probably over. We're going to play it safe and probably just say 301 will be our trigger for the move to the top side. I'm bullish on PayPal so long as it holds over 300, and that will remain true for this entire week. This analysis, I mean, I will always like analyze just for one day out, but a lot of these trades can kind of be taken multiple days in a row for continuation plays. So if PayPal breaks over 300 and holds throughout the duration of this week, I'm bullish on it, and it'll probably stay on my watch list all week so long as it holds over 300. Cool? So looking for the move over 301 on PayPal for the run up to the 309 area. Number 3 on the watch list for tomorrow, SNOW, SNOW. Big move there on last week. We got the breakout over this blue line here. That's going to be the 200 EMA. That's very important because a stock trading on the daily chart below the 200 EMA is in a downtrend, right? Considered to be in a downtrend. When a stock breaks over that 200 EMA and starts trading above it, well, then it's considered to be in an uptrend. And you see the potential up here, 429. I mean, I'm not saying this is going to run all the way to the all-time highs, but it looks good. It looks good on this volume. It looks good on this breakout move. I mean, that's very solid right there. So this is kind of considered a bull flag breakout there over the 200 EMA and over the $250 whole number. From here, I don't know if I would want to take this long as a continuation play from where it's at, just given this move that it made. But there might be enough momentum behind this stock to continue to push it without any sort of pullback. Ideally, though, I would like to see some sort of pullback before this continues up, but we might not get it, right? This has been on, I've seen a lot of traders in the community start to mention this now. I actually put it on Twitter last week before this breakout happened, and then wound up taking it off of my watch list. We were watching it a couple of times, but hold on, I'll show you. It did this kind of fake out move in the morning and then pulled back. And unless you were in on kind of this break area here, then or trading midday, I don't see how you could have caught the rest of this trade. But yeah, SNOW still looks great for a continuation. You don't have to always catch breakouts the day that they happen. It's okay to trade them the day after for continuation plays. So if this were to pull back, I would like to see it hold maybe 260 or 255 at the minimum as support. But a pullback to 260, I would still be bullish on it. And then, of course, a pullback to anything above that, I would still be bullish on it. Right? So we're looking for a break on SNOW over $272 for the continuation play to the top side. Just be careful on this one because of the move that it's already made. The fourth one on the watch list for tomorrow. By the way, if you're just tuning in, I'm breaking down my trades for tomorrow. Press that like button for me. We're going to do a quick review on them. That was Apple. I've already talked about it. It has an ascending triangle on the daily chart time frame, trading at the all-time highs, just looking for a break into the all-time highs. PayPal, trading at the $300 whole number. We're looking for a break over 301 and the run to all-time highs. And then Snow breaking out of this bull flag pattern, reclaiming that 200 EMA on the daily chart time frame. Just looking for a continuation play on this one over 272. The next one on the watch list is going to be SQ. It has made somewhat of a decent move here. It's kind of choppy, but run up, pull back, run up, pull back, run up, pull back, run up, pull back, and then we see another pullback after this high. So it was in this kind of upward channel for some time, right? And then fell out of this upward channel and actually had a gap down there. But what's more important is that it's rejecting the $250 price point and now has a little bit of this gap to recover. It's not super significant, but it is there. I really like gap trades because there's little to no resistance in this area. Like what's stopping this from continuing up and filling this gap and then maybe even going beyond that, right? So 250 is clearly a line of resistance. I think you're going to find some resistance around 244.5 or 245 area as well once this starts to get up into that gap area. It's actually up slightly after hours. So these trigger levels that I'm kind of giving you now, make sure that you're adjusting them in the morning according to how the market moves, right? So if like all of these stocks gap up like crazy and I'm telling you Apple looks good for a long position over 146, that doesn't mean just take the entry right at open. You have to adjust given the move that the market has made for you. Yeah, so I'm liking SQ over 245. I'm really liking it this week if it can get over 250. So that's kind of the trade that we're going to be looking for going into tomorrow. This is still healthy, even though it pulled back. Look, it bounced right here off of this 50 EMA, which was a resistance during this time when it was coming down. It kind of bounced between the 200 EMA and the 50, then decided to reclaim it, test as support, run up, another test as support, and we'll see if we can get a larger move. I'm trying to consider this big range here in the picture. And so if we were just to extend this trend line all the way over, you can see why 250 is a significant level. Right? So every time it's kind of broken over, it's made this larger run to 280. So that's what we're looking for this week if SQ can even get up to that price point. All right, I'm going to break down some side charts here in a second and then start taking your charting requests. This week, I usually don't take requests on like penny stocks. I won't usually do penny stocks, but I'm feeling like doing anything. So just shout it out and we'll break it down and I'll talk about it. So side charts for this week, and by the way, don't sleep on the side charts. They can still make you money. They can still make the main chart watch list. They're just side charts because they may or may not be ready to go tomorrow, depending on where it opens. Number one is Amazon. I think we'd be a fool not to include Amazon on the watch list. If we go back to the weekly chart time frame, much like Apple, it's been consolidating in a larger kind of range or pattern well, this is a range. Apple was a pattern. But it's been doing so for an extended period of time and just now breaking out of this resistance into the all-time highs. I like the fact that this has made a run and then starting to stutter, right? It's holding up or trying to build some support and a base for the next leg. Keep alerts set at 37.60. I think that this stock definitely still has run potential in it, but it's just not, or maybe not ready for tomorrow, but might be ready for later on this week. So 37.60, keep your alerts set there. If this opens up anywhere near 37.60, I'm putting it right on the watch list. There's no way that this doesn't make the watch list if it's trading just under those all-time highs. Number two is SPCE. This one's got This one's kind of got a little bit of an interesting pattern going on. It's hard to tell what's going on here, but Richard Branson's flight to space was a success. So I don't feel like breaking this down a ton from a technical standpoint, just because I feel that since the flight was a success, there's going to be a gap up on this stock, and that our technical analysis is going to have to totally be reworked. But I do like it over 52 or 54. It's been making lower highs. It's kind of validating this lower gap area as a support. And all-time highs is not far off. $58 was the peak of this run. It was a lot of the resistance back here. 62.8 is just overhead. So, I mean, it's tough to say how I'm going to trade this, not knowing if it's going to gap up or not. I feel like there's a strong chance that this does gap up, but you know, anything could happen. So I'm watching it over 54. That's going to be kind of my baseline to take this trade, because I want to see if it can break this downtrend, break 54, maybe make the run to 58 or beyond, right? 60. Who knows? There's a lot of hype kind of following this stock recently, and I'm loving the volume that's been coming into it. It's been making really big moves. So I'm looking to get in on that if it opens up over 54 or near the $54 price point. Boeing is the next side chart watch for me. It's in this larger kind of pennant pattern here, holding up support at the 200 EMA. So, you know, this line's not exactly perfect, but you get the idea. It's been making higher lows and lower highs. That's what I'm trying to point out here. Higher lows, lower highs recently. And so with it holding support at the 200 EMA, forming a bullish engulfing candlestick at the bottom of a drop at support and reversing with the next candlestick, I think that Boeing might potentially be reversing here for the move back up. It's going to get really interesting because over 245, there is a gap area up to about 248, right? And so that's a potential trade in itself. From where it's at currently up to this gap area is also a potential trade. And Boeing kind of falls into this like weird split category of airline and defense stock where it may move off of, you know, if SPCE gaps up, it may move off of kind of like this airline hype that's been going on, or this space race hype that's been going on. So it's one to watch and one to keep eyes on. It is seemingly breaking this downward trend line right here. So a lot of things going for this as far as this being a reversal. Needs to get over this 50 EMA though. So I've got alert set at 242. That's alert 1 to let me know this is moving up. I plan to take a trade on it over 245 into the gap area up to about 248. So it's not ready yet, but might be later this week. The last one on my side chart watch list is ROKU. Fun stock to trade, makes great moves, can be somewhat risky, but if you like volatility, then this is the name for you. Big run up, right? Big pull, well, not necessarily a big pullback. Big run up and somewhat of a pullback. Kind of looks like a bull flag, doesn't it? If we were to draw that out, looks like a bull flag to me. I'm watching this over $440 this week. For the bull flag to be true, it needs to begin to make higher highs. So at this point, it's just been making these lower highs all the way down. So the moment that it breaks 440, breaks this downward trend line, it would be making higher highs, and then this is kind of the expected move that we're looking for on ROKU. So it has potential to make that move tomorrow. Actually, I want to check on it and see what the opening price is. If it's near 440, I'll consider putting it on the watch list. Let's see, percentage-wise, it's only off, about 1.5%. So there is a possible trade from where it's at up to 440, but I'd rather just have confirmation and wait for that break of 440 for the move back up to the top side. If you're just joining in, I see we got about 20 new viewers here. I've already reviewed my trading plan for this week. I'll quickly go over those stocks for you again. Apple, PayPal, SQ, and Snow are all making my main chart watch list. If you missed that analysis, this stream is going to be uploaded for the next 24 hours, so you can just go back and rewatch it from the beginning and check those breakdowns out. I just went over all of my side charts for this week. I'm watching Amazon, SPCE, Boeing, ROKU. Those stocks they may or may not make my main chart watch list, kind of depending on where they open up at. And now I'm about to get into the charting request portion of the live stream. I feel like this is everybody's favorite part. All right, Cam's asking, can I look at StarBUX? Yeah, great. So I actually mentioned StarBUX as it was breaking out down here not too long ago. And I don't know if any of the traders in my server actually took this trade or not. But it made a nice move up. And it reminds me of Apple, actually, because Apple is making a very similar move, right? Big run, little dip, and then move back up. So SBUX, big run, well, big in relation, run, little dip, and then the move back up. It's not far off from the all-time highs, so I would be cautious at this point taking a trade on it because you know resistance is right here at 119. However, it's not far off from 119. Percentage-wise, you know, we're looking at what, 1% or so from 119 area. So do what I did here, Cam. Set your alert at 119 and then just sit on it and wait. If it breaks the 119 area or closes near 119, the next day, for sure there's a trade on this into the highs, right? SBUX, yeah, great. Thanks for calling that out and bringing it back to our attention. Steal my wheels. Mentioned Roku. Yeah, so I have the same breakdown on Roku actually as you do. I did see your post in the where'd you post it at? In the Member Signals channel in the Discord server. I agree with everything you said there, right? That was the same exact breakdown that I had. I like it over 440. I don't know if your trend line that you drew is totally correct. I think you had it a little tighter, so yours looked kind of like that. I would just be, rather be safe than sorry. Make sure you draw them a little loose rather than a little tight, because the last thing you want to do is get faked out on something that you think is reversing when maybe it's not. Good rule of thumb is if you're connecting bodies of the candle, just to connect body to body, or if you're connecting wicks, go wick to wick. I tend to focus on the bodies of the candles because I feel like wicks can provide false breakouts. Like for instance, right here, if we're looking at 350 as a resistance, look at where the bodies of these candles are closing. They're all closing under 350, so you never got a breakout move over 350, right? But the wicks are definitely breaking over 350, so you're like, oh, well, it's just a bunch of fake out data right here. Maybe I should wait for a break of 360 instead. But yeah, just a rule of thumb, wick to wick, body to body. Irvish mentioned CLF. Can I take a look at CLF? Yeah, let's look at it. You said it's looking like it's ready to break out on the daily chart time frame. Let me see. That's kind of a larger move there for this stock, right? 6%. That's a good move. Resistance, I would say, is around. I'd probably just play it safe and say resistance is going to be at $23. Just based off of this peak right here, and then from 23, it would have room to run to 24 and beyond. Is this the all-time highs for this stock? I have to back this up to see. I've never charted this one before. Okay, wow. Yeah, no, I'm way off. So that's why you always check. I'm trying to figure out, where the next kind of major point of resistance is at, and if there's any resistance that's relevant to where this stock is currently trading at. And I'm using all of this previous data to tell me that. But I don't see much here. I mean, there's a lot of chop between now and $30. It looks really interesting over 30. Once it gets, hold on, I'll draw a trend line. See how it gets over 30 and then it, pulls back. You have a bunch of like resistance at 30, support at 30, resistance at 30, support at 30, resistance at 30. Right? So that's looking interesting if it can get up to 30. But based on the daily chart time frame, I mean, it is moving up, but it's gradually doing so. So it's making these higher highs and then pulling back, but it's still using that 50 EMA as a support, which is what looks good on this most recent bounce because it never really broke below the 50. It did validate it as support and began to move back up to the top side. In fact, almost making another new recent high. I would wait for a break of 23, I think, just to be safe, and then kind of trade it from there. I'm not sure what your intention is with something like this, if you're trying to day trade it or swing trade it or whatever, but yeah, 23 would be my level to watch. OJ, welcome in. He's saying, let's break down IWM. Let's do it. IWM, I'm just going to break this down from a technical standpoint. Lots of chop in this area, but it almost looks like, and this is kind of stretching it here, it almost looks like an ascending triangle to me. Resistance around 230 and 233. Support is moving. Support is moving up. Higher lows every time that it dips down. So I would probably just set an alert at 233 or 235 in this area and wait for a breakout. We're doing that. We literally are doing that right now with Apple. Right? We waited for a long time on Apple. We identified this pattern, months ago, and we were just waiting for this move to happen. And once we got it, start putting it on the watch list. Let's trade it. There's no fault in waiting on a setup to come to you. Right now, if you're to trade this long, there's just a lot of resistance overhead. It could be stopped at any one of these points in here and then come right back down. So I would just wait for the breakout on something like this and then play it to the top side. Martinez is talking about Microsoft. Yes, this is a stock that's also tradable at the all-time highs. Yes, it's something that I would consider putting on my watch list, but I don't like to include too much of the same sector on the same watch list, if that makes sense. So we're already talking about putting on PayPal, SQ, Apple, Amazon. I don't want to, and maybe Roku. I don't want to go in too heavy on the big tech names. So I did not include Microsoft, but that doesn't mean that there's not a trade here. It's still at the all-time highs, close to it, and a break over 281. Obviously, printing new highs is bullish. I would just set an alert there and wait on it. I'm personally not including Microsoft because it's a slow-moving stock. Sometimes it's just painful to watch. I watch this thing make tiny moves at a time. I mean, yes, it moves up, but it's would you just hurry up? It doesn't typically make these larger pop move days where it just grinds in one direction. But some people like that, right? So if you're a fan of the slower moving tickers, this is your stock to maybe trade. 281. Keep your alerts set there. Damon's asking, what's my take on NEO for this week? I don't have much of a take on NEO at the moment. I would kind of categorize NEO as part of these growth stocks, and they've been taking a beating lately. So I would put it in the category with PLUG, which is coming down at the moment. I'd put it in the category with PLTR, which is coming down at the moment. So NEO, it's coming down. I don't see anything here that's telling me I want to trade this. However, that could change because I've noticed recently that whenever the big tech names start running these speculative stocks or these growth stocks get rotated out of, and then they start falling. And then so when big tech gets rotated out of, these growth stocks start moving back up. They get rotated into. So you might see, some rotation back into these names, especially with them trading near support points. This is trading at the 50 EMA, which we know can be a support point, right? And then same with PLTR. This is trading at the 200 EMA, which has validated as a support multiple times in the past. So there might very well be a rotation back into these. But as of right now, it would just be a guess. I don't have any plans on trading NEO or putting it on my watch list unless it were to do something where it maybe broke this downward trend line and got back up and over $50. Because even if it did so from here, I think it's going to meet big resistance there at 50, but if it were to break back over 50, it would have my interest. As far as trying to tell you where this goes for this week, I mean, I have no idea, right? I try not to be a fortune teller. I mean, you can create a plan and then trade if your plan plays out, but trying to guess where something's going to go when I don't see anything here that's telling me it's high probability is just that. It's just a guess. So, you know, my take really wouldn't matter on where this heads from here. All right, let's do, I see a couple more here. Spotify. So this was mentioned by DTP. So he said Spotify filled the lower gap with an upper gap overhead, but it's right at the 200 EMA. Any thoughts? Yeah, so we were looking at trading, I actually mentioned Spotify into this gap area as it was breaking into it initially, right? Because this gap area extended down like this, and it did make a little bit of a run up to 280 before reversing and coming back down. So basically, this is what's called a partial gap fill. So there's still a gap here that's relevant, but right now, it's nowhere near that gap area. So I don't know that I would, I know for a fact, I wouldn't take a trade on Spotify personally until it got back up to 280, which is why I have an alert set right here. You know, I wouldn't mind trading this over 280 up to 290 to fill the gap area, but given the fact that it's rejected and came down, it just looks less enticing to me. But I do like that where it put in this dip at conveniently was located where this resistance was at. So this might have just been like a healthy pullback from this run, because during this whole time up into the gap area, it didn't have one single red day, right? It was just slowly chugging away and making new highs and getting into this gap area and then pulled back. So this holding right here, being that this was old resistance can become new support, looks good for a potential reversal point. Maybe set an alert at 270, right? And you don't have to wait for 280, because then you would be really looking for the break of that downtrend. But yeah, you're right. That 200 EMA is worrisome. It needs to get over that price point or over that indicator and hold. A break of 270 would probably give you that confirmation. Let's go over Wing. Somebody mentioned this one, Wingstop, huh? Lots of chop and consolidation right at 160. So 160 is your level. That's really clean, actually. You might want to say, you know, just to kind of count, make sure you're not getting faked out of these wicks. You know, might just say like, hey, a break over 162 looks a little more, has a little more confirmation behind it. But yeah, I mean, all of these candles, as far as like where they're closing at, they're all closing below 160. So 160 is for sure your level to watch here. And then again, the same point, like where it pulled back here, I mean, old resistance, it did this all the way up, actually. Check this out. Old resistance, right? Break over, pull back, new support. Okay, put in the next trend line. Resistance, break over, pull back, support. Put in the next trend line. Break over, resistance, pull back, support. So, I mean, this is like freaking A+ trading right here. That's so simple to follow. And you can use that kind of strategy for your entries intraday as well. If you're trend trading or trying to, like, you know, trade with the momentum to the top side, all those dip entries back to the resistance points, they're all possible entry points. If this was all like on the 5-minute chart time frame, I mean, this is literally what I tell my team. Like, you don't have to catch the initial breakout. You don't have to be in on this price point at this time, because if it's a true breakout, you should get some sort of pullback rather than a fake out or rejection. I mean, that's how you wait. This is called waiting for confirmation. So yes, you missed the initial move, but you can catch the dip entry, right? Yes, you missed the initial move, catch the dip entry. Yes, you know what I mean? Rinse and repeat. We do it all the time. All the time. All right, guys and girls, thank you for your time this afternoon. I will be trading live in the server Tuesday and Thursday this week, so we've got a nice full week of trading. If you're not in the Discord server and you want to join, the link is in the description. Come trade with us. Come try us out. I will see you all in chat tomorrow. I'll have the adjusted trigger levels posted on the watch list in the morning. Take care. Enjoy your evening. I'll see you tomorrow.